Hey folks, this is Kelani. We're back on the Battle for Azeroth Alpha, and this time we're going to be checking out the changes to the last hunter spec on our list, Beast Mastery. Survival was changed quite a bit, and Marksmanship was turned on its head again, but Beast Mastery seems to be the more stable specialization of the three. Not many changes are coming our way for the Beast Mastery spec, but we are going into a new expansion and losing our artifact weapons on top of that, so the outline seems fairly similar, but there are a few changes to the way it's being coloured in. Let's have a look at what changes are in store for Beast Mastery hunters in the next expansion, and how everything might turn out. Remember that this is still alpha footage, so it's subject to change and may not reflect the finished product. One of the largest changes to Beast Mastery hunters is actually related to your pets as opposed to yourself. Each family of pet will now be locked into a specialization, so if you summon a cat, it's automatically a ferocity pet. If you summon a turtle, it's automatically a tenacity pet. Birds of prey will always be cunning, so you can't swap between pet specs anymore. One pet will always be one spec, no ifs or buts. To make the decision less impactful, or I guess more impactful depending on how you want to look at it, each pet spec is going to do the same DPS. The differences between the pet specializations have been narrowed down quite significantly to just two abilities, one passive and one active. The passive will always be active whenever you have a specific spec of pet out, and the active ability can be triggered with the new command pet ability, which changes depending on which spec of pet you currently have active. For ferocity, the passive gives you and your pet leech, while the active is called primal rage, which provides the bloodlust effect for you and your party. A tenacity pet will give you both increased max health as a passive, and the active is called survival of the fittest, which reduces the damage both you and your pet take by 20% for 6 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. A cunning pet will grant you both increased movement speed, and the active is master's call, which removes roots and snares from you and your pet. So choosing your pet is going to be choosing between 3 different sets of utility rather than DPS or tankiness, moving away from everything is the same towards something a little more specific and targeted is a good move in my opinion. Your pet choice should matter, and different pets should be useful in different scenarios. As for our core abilities, we're losing our artifact weapon, which means losing both Hati as a companion, and our ability to turn our menagerie of pets into mini lightning rods. Sadly, taking out even one button of our rotation is quite a bit of a hit. We don't have much left to work with, but the baseline set of abilities seems to be more or less the same with just a few tweaks. Our main damaging abilities are still Kill Command and Cobra Shot. These both cost focus. We're going to want to use Kill Command on cooldown and then use Cobra Shot to dump any excess focus. To generate all that lovely focus, we'll be using Dire Frenzy. That's the first change. Dire Frenzy and Dire Beast have swapped places, so we have Frenzy as default and then Dire Beast is now a talent option. Bit of a weird swap, but I guess the dev team wants us back to just one pet by default. Dire Frenzy still has 2 charges baseline, so at least that's not going anywhere. That's actually sort of it for our main ability. We do still have multi-shot when we want to AoE, as well as a few DPS cooldowns to up our burst damage. Bestial Wrath is still hanging around. Send yourself and your pet into a rage, increasing damage dealt by 25% for 15 seconds, and using Dire Frenzy or Dire Beast will reduce the cooldown by 12 seconds. The other cooldown we have is Aspect of the Wild. Generate 5 focus per second for you and your pet, and increase your crit chance by 10% for 20 seconds. Beast Mastery also has a few passives to add into the mix, the first being their Mastery, which hasn't changed in a very long time. Mastery increases all of the damage your pets deal. We also have Kindred Spirits, which increases both yours and your pet's maximum focus by 20, Wild Call gives your auto shot crits a chance to reset Dire Frenzy or Dire Beast, and Beast Cleave causes your multi-shot to also allow your pet to AoE for 4 seconds. From there, it's all defensives and utility. We're still using Aspect of the Turtle as our main defensive ability, deflect all attacks and reduce damage taken by 30% for 8 seconds, and we still have Aspect of the Cheetah for a burst of movement speed. Disengage allows you to hop back whenever you feel the need to jump off a platform or a cliff, and Exhilaration will keep you and your pet healthy. Beast Mastery also gets Intimidation as baseline, so a single target on-demand stun which doesn't have to be talented for, as well as most of the other bits and bobs in your typical hunter kit. Feign Death to drop aggro, Concussive Shot for a single target slow, Counter Shot for a ranged interrupt, Misdirection to help your pet or tanks keep aggro, Flare to reveal any stealth creatures lurking around, as well as all of the pet utility to help manage your pet. Call Pet, Mend Pet, Revive Pet, all that good stuff. Beast Mastery does get both Freezing Trap and Tar Trap as well, so one for hard CC and one for that awesome AoE slowing field. So that's all of our baseline abilities. Let's see how the talents are doing. There's a lot of familiar stuff in here. Most of the changes revolve around talents moving position rather than talents actually changing, but we'll go through them anyways. Big Game Hunter increases your crit chance on auto shot and cobra shot by 60% on targets above 80% health. Animal Companion seems to be the devs team's answer to the loss of Hati. We can summon an additional pet that will use kill command, but pretty much nothing else. Here we have Dire Beast, which changes Dire Frenzy back into the beast throwing ability. I wonder which one will end up on top this time. And down a row we have Dire Stable, which increases the focus generation of Dire Frenzy or Dire Beast by 8 over its duration. One with the Pack causes our Wild Call passive to have an extra 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Dire Frenzy or Dire Beast. Chimera Shot is a two-headed shot which can hit 2 targets and generates 10 focus per target hit. Trailblazer is a movement speed boost whenever you haven't attacked for 3 seconds. Natural Mending reduces the cooldown of Exhilaration for spending focus. Camouflage lets us stealth and heal over time for 1 minute. Venomous Bite causes Cobra Shot to reduce the cooldown on Bestial Wrath by 1 second. Thrill of the Hunt causes Dire Frenzy or Dire Beast to increase your crit chance by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times, so if you can get your Dire Frenzy cooldown low enough through Bloodlust or just raw haste, that could be an extra 9% crit as long as you can keep it up. And we have Murder of Crows, strong damage over time effect that resets if the target dies within its duration. We also have Born to be Wild, which reduces the cooldowns on Cheetah and Turtle by 20%, but not Aspect of the Wild. Post Haste causes Disengage to remove slows and roots and provide a movement speed boost, and Binding Shot will root anything which moves too far away from the arrow. Stomp has moved all the way down near the bottom. If you have Dire Frenzy, then your pet stomps the ground when Dire Frenzy is used, and if you have Dire Beast chosen, then your Dire Beasts will stomp the ground when they charge in after being summoned. Barrage is still hanging around. Fire off a huge barrage, which is sure to hit more than it's supposed to, and the last talent on this row is Stampede. Summons a bunch of beasts to trample the ground in front of you for heavy damage. The last row of talents gives us Killer Cobra. Cobra Shot resets kill command during Bestial Wrath. Aspect of the Beast, which does something different depending on your pet's spec. More damage, damage reduction, or apply a snare when you use kill command. And the last talent we have access to is Spitting Cobra, which used to be in the survival talent tree. Summon a Cobra which spits at your target for 20 seconds. You also gain 2 focus per second for the entire duration, so that's a nice little bonus. Hopefully that Cobra counts as a pet, so it might benefit from our mastery. And that's all for our talents. Again, not much has really changed. Stuff has just moved around a little bit. A few new things here and there, but honestly I would expect Beast Mastery to play out very much the same it has been throughout Legion, just with a few things left out. Thankfully, any holes left behind by our artifacts being thrown down the toilet should hopefully be filled in with the new Azerite armor and the Heart of Azeroth system. Remember that the new system could provide benefits similar to legendaries or artifact weapons, so hopefully we get something cool out of that, because right now it's more or less just Legion Beast Mastery, but without Hati or Titan's Thunder. So if you enjoy Beast Mastery right now, I guess that's a good thing, but if you are hoping for a little bit of change, maybe check out Survival or Marksmanship. I guess I'm happy with Beast Mastery overall. It's not like things absolutely had to change for me to enjoy it. I'm probably still going to play it a little bit while leveling because having a pet makes things pretty easy. I actually have to pay attention without the pet. I just can't shake the feeling that going into a new expansion, things should feel at least a little new. The problem is that Legion Beast Mastery actually works pretty well now that we have 2 charges of Dire Beast as baseline. That's been carried forward and was the largest issue I, and many other players, had with the spec overall. It's still a little slow, so maybe another ability added to the baseline kit could help with things. I mean, we only have like 3 or 4 abilities there. Honestly, I think adding in Chimera Shot as baseline would do a lot for the spec, but the dev team seems convinced that it works better as a talent, even when nobody really picks it. Keeping Chimera Shot in the talent is a bit of a weird choice, seeing as it saw almost no play in Legion, but maybe they'll tune things a little better this time around, and that row is one of the rows that was swapped around quite a bit anyways. So that's it for Beast Mastery in Battle for Azeroth. What do you think about the few changes we have? What changes would you like to have seen? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. That's also all of the Hunter specs looked at, so what would you like to see next? The highest rated or upvoted comment asking for a class will be the next one I go through, so if you want to see something specific, be sure to either comment or get your option to the top. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.